Number 15, the Ignis Altar. The stats are a great range, a very slow speed, and 8 damage. The Ignis Altar having only 8 damage and still getting up this high might sound insane. However, the pool of fire that the Ignis Altar shoots on the ground when it attacks deals 8 damage every 0.2 seconds. If enemies stay in the puddle for its whole duration, it can do an insane 136 damage to every enemy that's caught in the pool. As awesome as this damage is, it gets better. Its first ability, True Fire, is a passive that makes the pools of lava slow down any enemies it comes in contact with by 50%. This may sound like a kind of weak ability, but theoretically, this ability doubles the damage of any tower that's hitting an enemy inside one of those pools, especially the Ignis Altar itself. It's an insane ability. Speaking of increasing the damage that an enemy can take, its next ability, Single Extinction, does just that. Every 18 seconds, the tower curses an enemy, making it receive 100% more damage for 10 seconds. If the enemy dies when this affliction is on, the enemy will explode, dealing 76 damage to all enemies around it. This is kind of a weak ability, considering its long cooldown, shortish duration, and weak area build. The Ignis Altar's last ability is Burning Elemental. Creates a golem to fight enemies on the path that has these stats: 0 armor, 575 health, and absolutely 0 armor. You'd think that a lava golem would have tons of armor, but apparently not. Anyway, it also has 19 to 43 damage. This Burning Elemental, or Lava Golem, whatever you want to call it, is basically a weaker Dragon Warrior. Which is odd, because the Burning Golem costs more. And, is basically a huge chunk of lava and rock. So it seems very odd that it's weaker than what's basically a fat guy with a spear. Anyway, overall, despite its weakish 2 abilities, the Ignis Altar climbs to one of the better spots on the list, mainly thanks to True Fire. Although this is without question an awesome artillery tower, I would say that the Sandworm Hollow is even better. The real number 15, the Necromancer. The stats are 24 to 81 damage, an average speed, and a great range. Though its attack is very RNG based, its attack is fast enough that it doesn't really matter that much. Besides, the Necromancer's main power is summoning skeletons from the dead. Each Necromancer can have a maximum of 8 skeletons at once. If an enemy that is killed by the Necromancer, or near the Necromancer, max health is lower than 500, a normal skeleton will rise up from the ground that has these stats: 40 health, 0 armor, and 1 to 6 damage. If an enemy that dies near a Necromancer has more than 500 health, that enemy gets turned into a Skeleton Knight, which has these stats: 50 health, 30% armor, and 2 to 10 damage. These stats aren't very good, so it's very apparent that the Necromancer relies on numbers more than pure stats. However, there is a way to increase these stats, and that's by getting the Necromancer's first ability, the Death Rider. The Necromancer summons a Death Rider that has an aura around it. Any skeletons, including Boneheart's Bone Golems and, strangely, Ulric's Sand Warriors, get a 50% attack buff and an extra 30% more armor, which is pretty good, especially with the Skeleton Knight. The Death Rider itself has these stats: 350 health, 60% armor, and 15 to 25 damage. These are pretty decent stats, and although the Death Rider is expensive, I would say that it's worth it. However, what's definitely not worth the money is the Necromancer's second ability, Pestilence. Every 12 seconds, the Necromancer spawns a pool on the path that lasts for 6 seconds, dealing 20 poison damage per second. This isn't a very impressive ability alone, but combined with its insane price, well, insane for what you get, this is obviously the Necromancer's weakest ability. Overall, despite Pestilence's flaws, the Necromancer as a whole is a very awesome and powerful tower. However, it's clear that the new Necromancer is way better. Number 14, the new Necromancer. The stats are 38 to 72 damage, an average speed, and a great range. Since this is almost the same stats original Necromancer, I'm not going to go over them. The Skeleton Rising ability, however, is a little different. Skeletons can only rise out of the ground from dead enemies if the enemies are cursed when they die. Cursed means that they have that green glowy thing that you see around them when the new Necromancer attacks. If an enemy below 500 health dies while being cursed, it has these stats: 55 health, 0 armor, and 3 to 5 damage. If a cursed enemy dies that has more than 500 health, a bone golem is summoned with these stats: 165 health, 0 armor, and 8 to 12 damage. These stats are better than the old Necromancer's skeletons, and like the old Necromancer, there is a way to increase these stats. At least, the attack stats. And that is by their first ability, Rattling Beacon. Every 9.6 seconds, Necromancer summons a totem with a skull on it that curses enemies and boosts the attack damage of every skeleton near it by 150%, which is a very good percentage of damage. This lasts for 10 seconds, meaning that this thing has over 100% uptime, which means it's active 100% of the time. It's cheap, it curses enemies, therefore making skeletons out of them if they die, and buffs existing skeletons. It's an awesome build, and I would say that's the best ability of the new Necromancer, but there's an ability called the Death Rider, which summons a Death Rider to run down a huge section of the path, trampling enemies and dealing 150 damage to them. The cooldown for this skill is unknown. This is an incredible ability, and I'm pretty sure it's even better than Warhead's Hero Spell, and that's a hero spell. It's one of the best abilities of all time, and this, combined with the new Necromancer's other many good traits, it completely blows the old Necromancer out of the water.